Hello and welcome to Create the Flow. I'm Monica Freeman, host and founder of Monica Freeman Studios and Unewell. I am here to guide you in aligning with your soul's purpose, trusting your inner voice, and building a life that you truly love. You were born with a purpose, and your intuition already knows the way. Welcome back, my love. Today is really exciting because I'm going to share the Founder's Journey, episode 1. And in this episode, this is something that I have been working on for the last 3 months. So this is real time, fresh, behind the scenes. And I wanted to take you through a UGC partnership and what's going on with that. In December, I had a wellness brand, reach out to me on Instagram who wanted to partner with me for UGC content in an ongoing partnership. The brand is 100% aligned with me. It's one of my favorite brands. They have millions of followers. They have tons of amazing creators creating for them. So this was honestly a privilege and the most aligned opportunity. If I had a top 5 brands, this would be one of them. So when I saw this message, I was on cloud 9. We actually didn't get in contact until January. And that's simply because I kind of put everything on hold in December. I didn't even check my DMs. I can get really bad about that on my personal page. So I missed a lot of partnerships last year because of that. So that is, first of all, a takeaway for you. Don't do what I do. Stay on top of those things because you might miss some really beautiful opportunities. I'm just so grateful that in January, when I did follow up, we were able to connect. We got on a Zoom call and we discussed what they were looking for and what this potential partnership could be. After that Zoom call, I received an email with the scope of the work that they wanted, which basically detailed the rate that they were willing to pay for the amount of content that I would create for an ongoing month-by-month partnership with a minimum of 3 months. That was really beautiful because when you're doing user-generated content, or any partnerships for that matter, it can be influencer partnerships. You can own a studio and you can build campaigns or commercial marketing or content for social first marketing for brands. It really doesn't matter who the client is. When you book these long-term partnerships, not only is it more sustainable for both of you because you as the individual creating, you are making money and you have guaranteed money in a contract for a certain amount of time. But as the brand, it's wonderful because you get a feeling for exactly what the deliverables are that they want, who the brand is, what their mission is, what their values are, what their vision is. You get to speak to their marketing team, maybe their CMO, sometimes their CEO. You get to speak to people that know exactly what they're trying to create. So you co-collaborate on these beautiful pieces of content or these campaigns. And it's really wonderful to grow within that brand for a length of time. And honestly, I have found in my experience when I work with a brand long-term that it just gets better and better and better. And the deliverables become easier and the return on investment for them just gets better. So it's really productive on both ends. So we came to an agreement of what I felt comfortable was the right thing. The reason why I'm sharing this specific episode is because after that agreement, the contract came out. And this is where legal got involved. And the things that we discussed on the initial call looked different in the scope of the work on the contract. So once the contract was received on my end, it was completely misaligned. I had this immediate red flag internally. And I've spoke a lot about nervous system dysregulation because that is one of the telltale signs of living in alignment and sustainability. The second that I get a bodily sensation that rejects the idea of something, I know my body is sending me a sign that this is not in alignment with me and this is going to cause burnout. So I immediately responded and because I have been in this space for years and I started out as an influencer and a content creator before an agency owner, I am very well versed with licensing and contracts and distribution and deliverables and pay structure. And while I do understand that these variables do change based on the company that you're working with, there is still close proximity from one brand's legal contract to another's. And this one was way out there. So I came back with roughly 15 questions, which may seem aggressive, but as the creator who's actually doing the work, who has to show up and perform, I feel like it's necessary to detail all of your questions. And if the brand doesn't want to answer them, then that already is misalignment, because if they want you bad enough, they will work with you. They were really appreciative in their response and said, you know what, let's hop on another call because these are some of the things we actually hadn't thought of. That was a really good feeling to know that they were open to discussing the questions that I had and that I was going to get clarity. That did not mean that I was definitely going to land this UGC partnership, because right now we were misaligned. But once we got on the call and discussed exactly what would make each one of us happy, then I felt like we were completely aligned. They went back to their legal team to rewrite the contract. The contract came back, and about half of the questions that I had and the concerns that I was really battling had been answered to my liking. They were in alignment with me. So I felt this 50-50 pool because I don't do a lot of user-generated content. So now that we are talking about my personal likeliness and using my content on social platforms for paid ads, which is typically not perpetual usage that they can use indefinitely. And this company came back to me with that as what they wanted. And that was 100% misaligned with me. It no longer felt good to me because not only was the rate not correct, but the actual scope of the work that they were asking me to do was not user-generated content. They wanted cinematic storytelling on brand, real authentic content of my personal story, my personal wellness journey, but they wanted to market it as UGC. So this is something to really understand when you are building a portfolio of user-generated content. If you are pitching brands, obviously I did not pitch this brand. I do not have a UGC portfolio. This is not something in my wheelhouse that I do. I have created content for brands in the past, but I don't typically gravitate toward UGC because that's not really the type of creator that I am. However, if it is the right, most aligned client and a dream client, which this is, then yes, I will lean into the opportunity. So now we went back to the contract and I said, the only condition in which I will work with you is one of these three things. And I detailed what the three ways they can work with me are. And that shifted everything because now I just moved a dream client into a personal opportunity to work with my creative studio. And I just signed a deal that was better than the original deal for a longer period of time with a dream client working in the capacity that worked for me. All because I decided to stand up, speak up for myself, but also meet them where they needed to be met. I didn't overshoot something. I didn't take advantage of something. I just saw an opportunity and positioned myself to capitalize on that opportunity by letting them know how I was going to deliver the most for them. So it was equally a return on their investment. A lot of times we think because somebody reached out to us with this opportunity, we can't either negotiate or retract that, or at least get on a call and ask a few questions. And if you are in either the content world where you are creating content, if you're an influencer, if you are looking for brand deals for your studio, if you are a UGC creator, there is a moment where you have to know your worth, your value, the time that's being spent, the resources that you're using. And you have to think about what's in it for you. It's not just about the money. So today, I would inspire you to stand up for yourself and negotiate the contracts that you are worth. If you need a manager or an agent to handle that, I would get one of those. But if you do not, then I would do it on my own. Use ChatGPT or another LLM, but compare it to the standard market value and see what's actually happening in real time, because sometimes these LLMs aren't completely accurate. So don't lean fully on that. And also, if you have experience, lean on the experience of what you've done in the past and realize that when you are creating these opportunities for yourself, and people are coming to you, you are the asset, you are the value, you are the creator, you have the control of being able to negotiate what you're worth. Make sure that it makes sense for you. Just don't take on jobs that don't feel good. And that's the reason why I went back and forth in this negotiation process with this brand, because this is a brand that is so aligned with me that it feels so good. I didn't want to pass up the opportunity unless I absolutely had to. And I would have passed up the opportunity if we hadn't come to an agreement that was mutually beneficial, because I love myself more than I love a brand who's aligned for me. I hope this inspired you to really stand up for yourself, negotiate your worth, stay in your power, be creative, be inspired, and be you. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you'd like more information, you can follow along on Instagram at Create the Flow Podcast, or find me personally at Monica Freeman. And if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to leave a review and share it with a friend.